F124 was the black sheep, and we pointed out as such. But F125 is something very different. It's not perfect, of course it's not, but it's also not the shit they want to sell you out there. We're going to look at the good and the bad in their fair measure. And at the end of the video, I'll give you my final conclusion about what I think of this game. No fanaticism, no hate, so let's get started. And obviously we have to start with the most important thing, which is the driving, the physics. The foundation of everything that will make this game enjoyable. The problems with the driving, the physics issues that F124 had, have been completely fixed. That magical grip, like super grip effect, you know, the arcade, that's completely gone. Likewise, the weird infinite grip in slow corners has disappeared. We always said the car felt like it was avoiding you. You didn't really feel the car. In F124, that has been completely lost, and in this F125, it feels much more natural. You truly feel the car is connected to the track. In summary, I would say that the driving and physics are, of course, fun and enjoyable, in my opinion. Something I have noticed is when degradation advances, I notice it a lot when you are applying throttle in slow corners, exiting slow corners. The rear wheels spin like crazy, and you really feel it as the stint goes on. That weakness in the tires, how they lose grip, and how it gets harder and harder to find the optimal throttle point on slow corner exits. But overall, it's without a doubt very enjoyable driving, and as I said, that's the base we start from. From here, everything else is enjoyable. I think there's one aspect that needs improvement, and it's not about physics as such because it's not physics, but we are talking about starts. What do I mean by starts? Well, I've tried many starts already, and most of the time I get off well, even sometimes overtaking 4 or 5 cars in a start. You will see here I did a test in Belgium, where I restart the race many times, and in every start I gain positions. In some, I even managed to get the first place. So clearly, this is an area to improve. Another thing I found very interesting in this game is the graphics. And in fact, I'm going to combine graphics and tracks in the same topic because we're talking about the visual aspect, you know, how the game looks. I must say I was very surprised graphically, considering we are 2025 and we are not expecting big graphical leaps anymore. There has been a clear improvement, an important improvement in lighting aspects. In certain spots it's very noticeable, but in general you will notice the car, the reflections on the car, the tire reflections, the track itself, it's all much improved. There are also cool effects like tire lookups, when you go off track, the tires touching the gravel, all very well done. I'm very happy in this aspect, honestly I didn't expect it. I've criticized them a lot for the graphics engine, and I didn't expect them to be able to make such a leap even to this level. I'm very surprised. This is also combined with the LiDAR, which you know are tracks scanned by laser, and honestly they look amazing. This is the good part. The tracks are, as you know, Australia, Imola, Bahrain, Miami and Japan. With these graphics that look so good, the game looks very good. At the same time, driving on LiDAR tracks is spectacular. When you play on LiDAR tracks with these graphics, it's a joy and one of the strong points of F125. Totally serious. But of course, there's a bad part, and this is nothing new. We've already talked about this before. We have LiDAR tracks, yes, but the question is, why do we only have 5 LiDAR tracks in the official Formula 1 game? I'm tired of saying it, it's the official Formula 1 game, you have to have all of them. They said, well, we'll add them over time. I don't care, dude, you have to have all from the start. It's the official Formula 1 calendar, you don't need 70 tracks. Just the official calendar LiDAR tracks are enough. And I think that's something to criticize because it's clearly wrong. At the track level, we are not done. There's another thing to say, and it's not new. The reverse tracks that many people criticize. I've said it before, I think when people try them, they will change their minds. In the end, they are different tracks and add variety to the game. But again, what we said before, why are incomplete again? Only 3. You know, I'm not asking for all 24 reverse tracks, I already said this. They themselves said that some tracks might not fit well with this idea, they have to configure it, that's been said many times, but damn it, 3 is very few. That's also the bad part, 1 step forward and 1 step back. This is clearly a positive point because we have more tracks, but at the same time it's negative because I think they should have more. And from here, we move on to one of the most important and positive points of F125 in my opinion, the big new feature in modes, My Team mode. Basically, they completely revamped and changed its focus. Before, it was set up so you were the boss and the driver in a somewhat clumsy way, and now you are the boss. You create your character, hire your drivers, and the entire focus has shifted so that now you manage the team more like a pure boss and less as a driver. Regarding car upgrades, from now on you will have to research parts, manufacture, and decide whether to produce 1 or 2 pieces at the same time. If it's only 1 piece, you will have to decide to which driver assign to. To achieve all this, you will also have to improve your departments. If you want to make 2 parts at the same time, you will have to invest in upgrading that department. And as your team grows, facilities, your staff, and the working capacity of each department, which is measured by the number of people working in it. If you want more people, it will cost more money, but be more productive. Also, the relationship with your sponsor has been incredibly improved, because now it's not just, hey, I hired the sponsor, they give me money, and that's it. Your relationship with the sponsor will grow, loyalty will increase, and depending on that, you'll get rewards like money, deliveries, and different stickers from that same sponsor that aren't unlocked from the start. Many things improve that relationship with the sponsor in your team. Additionally, this ties into customization, because you know that this year you can fully change in the livery editor the position, size, rotation, wherever you want, of your sponsor logos and place them all over the car. As I said, they also give you money for placing those sponsors on the car, and you will unlock different stickers and more. This is obviously one of the most important parts of this mode, because I've always said you can't have a good Mighty mode without a good editor that lets you make the car your own. But it doesn't end here. Customization also extends to the number font and color choice this year, which helps you make the car even more yours, if that's possible. This is the good part of customization, but as with other aspects, there's also a downside. For example, the team logo. This has not changed at all. It's still a mess, something that honestly I don't even think is acceptable in 2025. To be able to only choose a preset logo, honestly, I think this is something they should have changed, and it needs criticizing because it's clearly a flaw. They said if we like the customization changes they made this year, next year it will continue improving in this area, but I think that's not a good excuse. They should have improved it already. Just like they copied the many things from F1 Manager, I think it wouldn't have hard to copy this part too, both the team logo and, by the way, the race suite. Because the race suite also lacks the deep customization we have in F1 Manager, where we can place sponsors freely and especially the logo. And regarding helmets, at least this year we have helmets with the game sponsors, which make it a bit better, but I still say the editor should be like the one MotoGP has, and until they have that, I personally won't be happy. But obviously, despite many things left to improve, customization has improved a lot this year. At least in Mighty mode, I think there's been a big leap because now you can make the car much more personal. It's a mode where you have to spend time setting things up at the start, obviously. But that's cool because it gives you a lot of customization freedom and allows you to dive deeper into your own team. But don't worry, you wouldn't have to spend an hour every day before a race. The first time you have to spend more time configuring everything, but afterward, between races, it gets much more manageable. Of course, you also hire 2 drivers, and you have to decide which driver you want to race each Grand Prix. I also see this is a very positive point. Additionally, the game itself offers certain aids, for example, in organizing activities, which has been depending a lot. There's an option called autocomplete activities, meaning you don't have to do anything, and the game does it for you. This is great for people who don't want to bother too much. In fact, before starting the mode, the game asks you in what conditions you want to start, among many other things. Regarding money, facilities, staff, so if you don't want to start at the bottom, you can start with as many resources as you want and make the mode easier. In short, Mighty mode has completely changed, and if you really like this mode, it might be one of the main reasons to buy the game this year. Honestly, it's a mode I'm really enjoying so far, and I think now it's as it should be, with the right focus, which is the most important thing. I also want to mention something about driver career mode, because many people are saying, okay, is driver career mode the same? You know that driver career mode was remodeled last year in F1 24. It was a game that many people didn't buy or play, so many people missed that change. But yes, driver career mode is practically the same as last year, I mean. You will see some footage on a screen. The intro cinematic changes, the location changes, and even the conversation changes a bit, which surprised me quite a bit. I thought they would recycle it 100%, but no. The cinematic is no longer in a house, now it's in a boat, which seems okay. But other than that, driver career mode is the same as last year, so I won't go into detail there. And now we move on to one of the most important aspects of any Formula 1 game, which is the AI. Super important. Why? Because last year, along with the terrible driving, one of the aspects that harmed and made this game practically unplayable, because of the DRS trends. What can I say? Well, it's fixed. It's completely fixed, that's it. Okay, just like in Formula 1, there are circuits where there are more DRS zones and it becomes more critical, and I haven't had big trends. There are small groups, of course, but that's how Formula 1 is, okay? Of course, there are groups of 2 or 3, but that's normal. This happens in races and has always happened, it's not new. But it's corrected, and I can say that you can play against the AI and enjoy it alongside the driving. Obviously, the gameplay is more than enjoyable, but the AI doesn't end there, because the AI has many aspects and not all are good. I think the AI is very competitive and knows how to compete, and that's one of the biggest joys it has. I think I have always said this, but the F1 AI seems the best to me. However, I have the feeling that sometimes they break a little too early, in both defense and attack. It gave me that feeling. It didn't happen in every race the same way, but for example, in the first race I did in Australia, I had that feeling. Sometimes they didn't break as late as they should when they had to attack or defend, and I didn't have to break much either to make certain overtakes or to defend position. Other times, yes, they do break later. That's why it's hard to analyze, but I think that's the point that could maybe be improved. A bit more aggressiveness in braking, maybe that's what could be fixed. Otherwise, I don't see it as bad, and now you might be seeing some... I was testing on several circuits doing dive bombs, going for the inside in situations that don't make any sense, and I must say that sometimes the AI closes the door and sometimes it doesn't. In this footage from Silverstone I did several dive bombs, and I think this is the key. I think it shouldn't always close the door. I don't want it to always close the door on me. That doesn't happen in reality. Why do you think the concept of dive bomb exists? Do you think if no one left space and everyone always closed the door, would the concept of dive bomb exist? No, it wouldn't. The concept of dive bomb exists because sometimes drivers leave the door open because they see a missile coming and think, oh no, I'm going to crash. So they leave the door open. And to make a final point, not talking about direct fighting with the AI, but its behavior. Its behavior during the race on an external level, I'm happy so far because it makes mistakes every now and then. I don't see a mistake every 5 minutes, but I've done several races, obviously, and in some of them there have been AI errors. And there's also some external mess between them, so overall I'm happy, honestly. If I had to say more good things than bad, I think I would. Next point, the story mode, Breaking Point. I'm not going to go into it much, I don't want to spoil anything, I will tell you quickly what it is, guys. It's a story mode in a Formula 1 game. The story is what it is, it's limited, there are some things I find a little unnecessary. I never look here for the best story or best drama, I know what I'm getting, but some things I thought could be better. Gameplay wise, I think it's not bad, it's a few hours, you're not going to be playing it forever. I like that in some races you can choose one driver or the other. I've always said that this adds variety and even makes it somewhat replayable if you want to play the whole series first with one driver and then with the other driver. And also there's an alternative ending depending on the driver you choose, so I think that's good. You can comment whatever you want, but honestly Breaking Point doesn't keep me up at night because in the end it is what it is. It's a part of the game that gives you a few hours and that's it. After that you close it and that's all. So that's the story mode. And now we move on to some details, because I wanted to comment on Colapinto. Colapinto isn't in the game officially, like a Alpine driver, but I want to say something. Colapinto is in the game, Colapinto is in Formula 2. However, what confused me is that Tsunoda is in Red Bull. Why Tsunoda is in Red Bull? Why Lawson is in RB? Obviously Colapinto, the driver model, is in the game. They could add him if they wanted. That makes me think there's something we don't know, something that probably has nothing to do with the developers, I don't know. It's difficult to understand this. Also, everything around Colapinto's signing has been very weird, because they said at least 5 races or something like this, I don't know. But strange stuff. Maybe if something changes with Colapinto's contract in F1, if they finally say he stays for the rest of the season, well, we'll see. And the part I do want to criticize is Formula 2. Look, I don't play it. I really don't care. I'm not lying. I honestly don't care about Formula 2. But since I know some people like it, I have to criticize it because it's really part of the game. We start the 25 season and the Formula 2 cars we have in the 25 video game are from 2024. You have to applaud them, as always. Like every year, it's a tradition. But in this case, it really is the same. Again, the Formula 2 cars are from the previous season. You can have the nerve to release the official 25 Formula 1 game and have the Formula 2 cars be from the previous season. It just can't be that shameless. And finally, to wrap up, before getting into online and finishing with that, a positive thing, the liveries. We get some liveries in the game from teams that release special ones for a Grand Prix or something like that, and we'll be able to keep them all the time. I already mentioned this, but surely many people don't know. At some point, when they add a livery, it was temporary, and later it went back to the previous one, but not this year. We'll have the option that if a team gives us a special livery, like McLaren for some special Grand Prix, we'll be able to keep it forever and use it in Grand Prix mode whenever we want. It's also a small thing, okay, but personally I like it. And now, yes, we close with the online section. Because online is almost the F1 world. The F1 world is still the same, the multiplayer car, which they could improve, I guess. Only a few people will really play the car stuff. Like I said, the initial idea wasn't bad, but I think it's executed terribly. But the online, and this is more important, it's still the same. I've already played a ranked race, just like I did last year, and the race wasn't bad, honestly. I didn't see many dirty players, but my problem is here. 5 laps? Sure, have 5 lap races if you want, but you have to have at least a 25% length alternative. This is Formula 1. Safety car, tire degradation, pit stops, none of that works in 5 laps. So many important things are lost that make Formula 1 what it is. This could be a completely different ranked mode if they wanted to do it properly. But they don't, so I won't pay much attention to ranked. So in conclusion, do I recommend the game or not? I'm going to give you my personal opinion, but as always, I try to give you all the information so you can have your own judgment. I'm nobody to tell you whether you should buy the game or not. My personal opinion is that it's a good game. Not perfect, of course. There are things to improve, sure, but it's a fun game and you'll have a great time if you really like Formula 1. Now everyone has to decide if it's worth spending 60, 70 or whatever depending on the platform, but hey, I like the game. That's all for me. I hope you like it and found it useful. That's it for today. See you next time.